Hajj and Umrah. This is part 3 in this series that discusses the origins of the individual components of the Islamic Hajj and Umrah. The hill of Mina, manat. On the second day of Hajj, pilgrims depart for the hill of Arafa, located east of Mecca. It takes more than 4 hours to reach this hill by camel. In the middle of the journey to Arafa, there is a place called Mina, currently known as Mina, where they pray the prayer of noontime. Mina is an important place in the Hajj. Both the words Mina and manat have the same Arabic meaning, to wish or aspire. Manat was the daughter of Allah. This indicates that Mina was dedicated to the worship of Manat. Manat was the deity that Arabians would appeal to when they needed rain. As mentioned in part 2, at the end of their Hajj, they presented animal sacrifices to Manat. Manat, originally a planet, was represented by a rock on which sacrifices to the various gods were made during the Hajj ceremonies. According to many narrators, this was due to 2 factors. First, the word mana means to shed blood, suggesting to some narrators that the rock of Manat received its name because of all the sacrifices made on the rock of Manat. Second, because Manat means wish or aspiration, it was a place where many tribes came to present their animal sacrifices, which represented their own aspirations and pleading for rain. Allah are them, I am here. On the 3rd day of Hajj, pilgrims continued to the hill called Arafa. They all wear white, indicating a state of consecration according to tradition. They stand in a plain near a mount called Jabal ar-Rahmah, which means the mountain of mercy, and cry in loud voices from afternoon until sunset, Labek Aluma Labek. Aluma means Allah are them, so their cry is translated, Allah are them, I am here. The same cry was made by Arabians before Manat. They said, Allah are them, I am here. Without the prayerful who come early before you, people will fail and abandon you, but they will still come to you in one pilgrimage after another. When the Hajj was transferred to Islam, it presented the same religious words. When the pagans came to the hill dedicated to the worship of the moon, they cried Allah Akbar, which is Allah is greater. This is because the moon, who was Allah, was viewed as the head of the star family and was greater than the other members, Ilat the sun, and Manat and Al-Uzza, 2 of the planets. These deities were also mentioned by Muhammad in the Quran. Have you seen Lat and Uzza and another, the 3rd goddess, Manat? The cry Allah is greater is not an Islamic cry, but rather a pagan cry which the worshippers of the star family used to recite. Pre-Islamic Arabian poetry often honored members of the star family by emphasizing Allah as the head of the star family by repeating the words Allah Akbar. For example, Los ben Hagar, the Arabian poet of the pre-Islam period, said, I swear by Lat and Al-Uzza and all who follow their faith, and in Allah, Allah is greater than they. Casting stones. At Mina, or Mina, the pilgrims cast 7 stones at a hill. Islam tradition claims this locality is where Abraham met with the devil and threw stones at him. But Satan is a spirit and does not have a material body to be injured by the stones. The Quran claims that meteorites were stars which Allah used to strike the devils. However, the casting of stones at the devil was a pagan ceremony practiced by various pagan sects in the Middle East. Casting the stones was a ritual initiated in Mina by the tribe of Sofa, who led the ceremonies on the hill of Arafa. The tribe of Sofa did not allow anyone to walk from Arafa to the next Hajj station before all the tribe had thrown stones. Zoroastrians also cast stones on the water and in bulls' urine, which were prepared for ablutions and the purification of bodies and objects. Once they were cast, these stones or pebbles were deposited in holes in the ground, apparently to strike the insects and worms in the ground, which were considered to be devils by the Zoroastrians. The Wind Jinn Devil. The famous Arabian historian and geographer Al-Yaqubi of the 9th century wrote about the life of Arabia before and after Islam. He recorded that another idol placed on the Safa was named Majwur al-Ri, which in Arabic means the shelter or place of sanctuary for the wind. The wind at Mecca was considered as a jinn devil. This was recorded by many biographers of Muhammad, who mention that he was visited by a priest of the jinn devils named Thamad al-Azdi, who came to embrace Islam. The Book of Halabay recorded the delegation of Thamad al-Azdi who came to Muhammad was reported by Ibn Abbas. Thamad came to Mecca, and he was from Izid Shanat, which is the name of his tribe, and he used to cast spells or conjure through the wind, which was a devil of jinn. He greeted Muhammad, embracing Islam. Arabian authors who wrote about Mecca before Islam, like al-Azruqi, mentioned the wind was worshipped at Mecca, and there was an idol there named Naik, who represented the wind that people used to make a pilgrimage to. The idol of the wind was worshipped as part of the ritual for the worship of the wind devil on the hills of Safa and Marwa. Moon god worship. Since the moon god was considered to be the most powerful deity in Arabian star family worship, it would seem no coincidence that the Islamic calendar is a lunar calendar. Muslims all over the world bow toward the black stone that pagans venerated as a moon god idol 5 times a day. Crescent moons adorn the tops of mosques and decorate national flags. Fasting is done during the month, which begins and ends with the appearance of the crescent moon in the sky. Even the favorite shout of Mohammedan suicide murderers, Al Akbar, means Allah is greater, which for Arabian moon god worshippers meant that the moon god was the most powerful of all of the Arabian star family deities. A word to our Muslim could become brethren. Will you continue to reject the 1600-year record of God to mankind, as revealed through all of the prophets and witnesses of that record that God's people have followed through 2 covenants for 3,500 years, to instead continue to follow the 23-year 7th century record of a single prophet that had no fulfilled prophecy, that never performed a single miracle, and that not a single person ever heard Gabriel or Allah's voice give a revelation to? Considering the nature of Muhammad as revealed through Islam's own book, as well as the fruit of fundamentalists that try to emulate his appalling behavior, do you honestly believe that this is the kind of man that God would send to nullify his prior 1600-year record given through all of the prophets, apostles, and witnesses? Would God send a man 500 years after his record was closed that is revealed as being the exact opposite of Jesus Christ to present a message that is the exact opposite of the gospel? A man that led his largely illiterate followers in repackaged rituals of Arabian moon, sun, star, planet, and demon worship? Please join us in the Islam Christian Forum at the first link below the video for discussion of this subject. Please visit brotherpete.com at the second link for the text version. For the papers authored by Dr. Rafa Amari, from which most of the material in this series was derived, please visit the third and fourth links. And may God bless you and lead you in the truth.